World War I just ended, nativism, prosperous Americans and their progress, culture change, rights arranged, and even automobiles came, alcohol prohibited, and gorgeous rain on businesses.
The lost generation, writers and poets disillusioned by World War I, criticized the materialism and business-oriented lifestyles of the 1920s. S. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby and Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises discusses the problems with society. Gatsby? Well, Gatsby. The jazz singer was the first talkie in this era. The Harlem Renaissance emphasized black culture. Langston Hughes was a prominent black writer who displayed vibrant black culture.
The 18th Amendment, adopted in 1919, prohibited the sale or manufacture of intoxicating liquors. However, there's a widespread disregard of this law, especially in the cities and even by prominent politicians. Prohibition caused increased crime due to bootlegging illegal alcohol. Gang wars for this illegal alcohol market were common. For example, Chicago's Al Capone was a famous and murderous booze distributor.
The 1920s was a time of new innovations and a higher standard of living. This led to more leisure time for women. More women were now employed outside the house, and even some women demonstrated a more sexual frankness. For example, the flappers were symbolic in the 1920s for a new freedom and independence for American women. The flappers were fashionable young women intent on enjoying themselves and flouting conventional standards of behavior. Though it seems that women evolved from their previous place in society, how much progress did the 1920s really make for the women's movement? To determine whether or not women overcame oppression, we have developed 3 criteria. 1. Equality. 2. Independence. 3. Popular belief. The 19th Amendment, passed in 1919, gave women the right to vote. The Equal Rights Amendment, first campaigned for in 1923, would give women the same rights as men, but wasn't passed until 1972. More women were employed in cities than before. Women's work included retail, office typing, nurses, teachers, etc. With new employment, women were able to obtain their own income to support themselves. However, it was often considered low-income work. Another aspect of independence was their freedom of choices. Margaret Sanger was a strong advocate for birth control. Women could now choose between having a baby and not. In the 1920s, women were able to go out with their husbands more, creating the idea of companionship between couples. Though all these advances in the women's movement were significant, popular belief still maintained the idea that women should stay at home to take care of the children and be homemakers. Overall, the cult of domesticity prevailed. Did women overcome oppression in the 1920s? No. Although they made a small step forward, women were unable to surpass the centuries of prejudice, in this era at least.
Hey y'all, do you want to buy an automobile? These cars will give you so much more freedom. Come to Harry's car dealership today to buy your car.
Call 1-800-111-1111 today!
This is a primary source document from The Man Nobody Knows by Bruce Barton, partner of the Madison Avenue firm. During the 1920s, the advertising industry developed by using more sexually appealing ads. This led to a new mass consumerism. There were many new industries like that of the Ford automobile.
Get them at your dealers. Get genuine Ford parts. They're made to fit right.
And last longer.
Inventions like the washing machine and vacuum cleaner increased leisure time for more entertainment such as the radio. The income for the middle and working classes increased substantially.
The wealth of the Roaring Twenties was funded by the new flow of credit. People could buy stocks on margin and use installment plans. The accumulated debt resulted in a vulnerable credit structure, which would lead to the Great Depression and the stock market crash.
Underlying all the advances and improvements of the time was the corruption at the highest levels of government. This was reflective of the lack of morality during the 1920s. Harding and his Ohio gang were involved in numerous scandals, such as the Teapot Dome scandal. These scandals showed a get-rich-quick mentality in the Roaring Twenties. In the Teapot Dome scandal, naval oil reserves were sold to oil companies run by Sinclair and Doheny by the Secretary of Interior, Albert B. Fall. Fall was the only one tried and found guilty of bribery. An irrevocable mark was left on Harding's presidency and the prestige of Washington.
When you see this project, please give us more credit. Things we say more than we would like to, and you think that we're tone deaf. Oh, Miss Wu, oh, we beg, oh, our grades are hanging on a peg. Please forgive our